Welcome back to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into something I am super excited about: Spain's historic and honestly kind of baffling run to the World Cup semifinal. I mean, we're looking at a squad that absolutely everyone is talking about right now. They've punched their ticket to the Final Four, playing a style of football that completely suffocates the other team, but at the exact same time leaves their own fans holding their breath. It's wild. Actually, there's a quote floating around that hits the nail on the head. It goes, "They leave you applauding their dominance with the ball, and then they leave you going, 'We want more in the final third.'" And right there, that's the central tension we're unpacking today. Like, how on earth can a team totally dominate possession, dictate the entire rhythm of the match, and still look so, well, unconvincing when they actually try to score? It's a massive footballing puzzle. Okay, let's just dive right in. Here's our roadmap for the breakdown. First, we'll look at this beautiful paradox. Then, the gold standard of their midfield, the Yamal factor, that crazy late drama against Belgium, and finally, the ultimate French test waiting for them. Starting with part one, a beautiful paradox: dominance without destruction. The whole contradiction defining Spain right now is simply this: they absolutely boss every single opponent, just not on the scoreboard. It's really like looking at two completely different sides of the same coin. On side A, you've got this unmatched technical possession. We're talking absolute midfield control, an elite high press, and these flawless 1-2 touches in super tight spaces that literally set the bar for world football. But flip it to side B. There's no pure number 9 striker. They constantly overcomplicate passes right on the edge of the box. They're just missing that killer instinct, that ruthless edge to just smash it into the back of the net. They always seem to want to walk it in for the perfect, beautiful goal, and man, it costs them efficiency. But here's the thing: despite all those glaring flaws up front and looking a bit labored in the final third, it all boils down to the number 2. This is only Spain's second World Cup semifinal ever, the first obviously being their legendary run to the trophy in 2010. So look, whatever they're doing, even if it feels a little incomplete to watch, it is historically effective. All right, moving to part 2, the gold standard, mastering the midfield. So let's talk about why they're considered the gold standard. Spain sets the absolute benchmark globally for holding onto the ball in ridiculously tight areas. If the other team manages to clear it, how fast does Spain get it back? Basically instantly. It's honestly breathtaking to watch. Their midfield control is just so elite that even without a sharp, cutting edge in the attack, they essentially dictate the rhythm of every single game. Literally nobody plays possession football quite like Spain. And this dominance, it runs on a perfectly tuned engine. You've got Rodri anchoring the whole foundation in the center, then Fabian Ruiz is pushing up, scoring massive goals, like we saw against Belgium, and Dani Olmo is just expertly pulling all the tactical strings. But here's the stat that should absolutely terrify any opponent: they have conceded just one single goal all tournament. Think about that. Their possession isn't just an offensive tool, it's practically a world-class defense. Because if the other team never gets the ball, well, they can't score. It is highly calculated dominance. Which brings us to part 3, the Yamal factor: electric potential versus harsh reality. Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. 18! Just try to imagine carrying the weight of a massive footballing powerhouse on your shoulders at that age. The hype around him is completely off the charts. When you're in the stadium, people literally jump out of their seats the second he touches the ball, just waiting for magic. He's the guy who completely changes the dynamic of Spain's attack. But we have to talk about the context, and it comes down to the number 2 again. Specifically, the 2 full months of football he recently missed because of a really nasty hamstring injury. Trying to bounce back from that on the world's biggest stage, that's brutal for anyone. Because of that layoff, he really looks like he's operating at maybe 60 to 70% of his actual potential. He's just lacking that final bit of match sharpness. And you can see that lack of sharpness translating on the pitch right now. We're seeing a real lack of end product. Look, his touches are still pure magic. He'll drop a shoulder and leave a defender in the dust without breaking a sweat. But the finishing? It's just not quite there. We're seeing some weak shots, floaty crosses that are easy pickings for the keeper, and a lot of safe passing instead of aggressively taking guys on. It's exactly why he's only bagged 1 goal in 6 games here. He is trying so hard, but he's clearly struggling to conjure up his usual magic in the final third. So what does this actually mean for the tactics we're watching at home? Well, it's a massive headache. Defenses are just sitting back in low blocks and double-teaming him. And because Spain is terrified of getting hit on the counter, Yamal is basically forced or maybe instructed to play it safe. Plus, they are desperately missing a fully fit Nico Williams over on the left wing. Without Nico firing on all cylinders to stretch the field horizontally, the defense doesn't get pulled apart. That makes it way too easy to isolate and shut down Yamal on the right side. Let's look at part 4. Late drama against Belgium and the fine margins in knockout football. I want to trace the sheer chaos of that 2-1 quarterfinal win. So Belgium was super organized, totally frustrating Spain. But then, 65th minute, disaster strikes for them. Thibaut Courtois, arguably the best keeper on the planet, has to be subbed off in tears with an injury. Fast forward to the 70th minute, and his backup, Lamine, has to come on completely cold. Then, late in the game, out of nowhere, Spanish center back Pau Cubarsí decides to rip a highly unexpected long shot from outside the box. Lamine fumbles the save, and Mikel Merino is right there to pounce on the rebound for the clutch winner. It wasn't some beautiful 20-pass masterpiece, but hey, it got the job done. Merino is basically the ultimate wild card here. There's a great quote describing him: "He's just got that nose to sniff out a goal. He's always in the right places at the right time." And that is absolutely huge. Merino proved that sometimes you really don't need a picture-perfect goal. You just need a guy who's willing to crash the box, read the bounce, and react first. He gives Spain this amazing off-the-bench option to break the deadlock when all their perfectionism just isn't cutting it. Finally, part 5, the ultimate French test, a heavyweight semifinal. When you break down this heavyweight matchup, the battle lines are stark. In the midfield, Spain has the absolute upper hand with their crazy control and possession. They are going to try to completely starve France of the ball. But up in the final third, that's where France has the edge with extreme pace and some terrifying firepower, which is exactly what Spain is missing right now. Down in defense, it's basically a dead heat. Both squads are rocking elite center-back pairings. Whichever team manages to force their specific advantage onto the game is going to win this thing. Now, Spain definitely has a psychological edge. They actually beat France in the last Euros, and they beat them again in last year's Nations League semifinal, so they know they can do it. But consider this a massive warning sign. France's attackers are absolutely ruthless. If Spain hesitates even for a second in the final third, or if they make one of those sloppy, overpassing mistakes trying to be too cute, France has the speed and skill to punish them on the counter instantly. Which really leaves us with this final burning question. Can Spain finally find their killer instinct, or is France going to ruthlessly punish their perfectionism? It's shaping up to be an unbelievable clash of styles. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out and breaking down this tactical matchup with me in today's Explainer. I really hope this helped clear up exactly how Spain got here and what they need to pull off to reach the final. Until next time, keep learning.